Now at 9, how a proposed $16 million bond would benefit the Grove Police and fire departments. Plus, the story of the first American couple to be married on the historic Route 66 Rainbow Bridge. And an insurance agency in Carthage is expanding with a $5 million new facility.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A Jasper County court sentences a man in connection with the shooting death of his 17-year-old daughter. Todd Hayes received a sentence of life in prison for the second-degree murder of his daughter, Prayer Nicholson, in January of 2022. A jury in November said Mays acted with deliberation in the fatal shooting. Prosecutors had originally charged Mays with first-degree murder, but the jury could not reach a unanimous decision. Mays was also sentenced to a consecutive 15-year sentence on an armed criminal action charge. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us with a first look at weather.
Yeah, another mild day for us today. Temperatures right around 60 degrees, well above our average high of 46. We started at 50, and here in about 20-25 minutes is actually the official beginning of winter for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. All right, let's go outside. Still quite a bit of traffic. 55 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. Temps across the board in the mid-50s. We're only going to drop off near 50 later on tonight. But look at the rain starting to really increase, really bubbling up once you get down through parts of Delaware County. So this is going to increase and head toward us, all this moisture in northeastern Oklahoma, as we work through the next several hours. Let's stop. 1 a.m. you can see the rain getting into the metro, also up toward Pittsburgh, spreading through. We're going to have light to moderate rain where you see the yellows. That's indicating moderate rain across the region. We're going to look more at this system and the holiday in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Rainbow Bridge on historic Route 66 is celebrating 100 years. Brush Creek Bridge in Cherokee County is the only remaining Marsh Arch bridge on Route 66. Now, Marsh comes from James Marsh, designer of the bridge. KOAM's Fernanda Silva talked to two people who have a very special connection to the bridge.
Joe and Kelly Casillas got married on the Rainbow Bridge on a hot day in July 2005. They believe they're the first American couple to get married there. With her being from Kansas and him being from California, the wedding on the bridge on Route 66 had a special meaning.
Just always have loved the bridge. I always would come out here.
Kind of a historical spot.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We still drive by it all the time.
A historical spot for their family and for the four-state area.
Rainbow Bridge was constructed in 1923, but Route 66 was established only 3 years later.
When they were originally planning the road across America, that there were plans taking it up north. You know, folks in Tulsa, they wanted that highway going through Tulsa, you know, because that's business. And so we just benefited from them dragging that road down into Oklahoma.
They used existing roads, they used existing trails connecting small town to small town. And with Kansas, we were pretty much already paved. The Rainbow Bridge was in existence.
The Rainbow Bridge is featured in many movies and books about Route 66. It is one of those places that travelers need to stop by when they're driving on American's Main Street.
Scott Nelson is the owner of Nelson's Old Riverton Store, another local attraction on the historic highway.
If they're going to the west, they'll stop here first and they'll say, how do you get to the bridge? And so we say, this is how you get to the bridge.
People get to Baxter Springs and realize they've missed it and they've gone looking for it just because they have to have that picture. And it's just, it brings back memories, it brings back a simpler time.
Memories of a bridge that connects places and people. Along Route 66, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
When 2026, Route 66 will be the one celebrating 1 century. And according to the Baxter Springs Heritage Center and Museum, the hope is to have the bridge painted for the centennial. Well, Carthage, Missouri-based insurance agency is its headquarters to a new facility in town. Special Risk Insurance is building a new facility worth $5.3 million. It'll be located just off of I-44, allowing the agency to grow even more in the future. They expect it to create more than 200 jobs. Specialty Risk Insurance also has locations in Joplin, Sarcoxie, and Nevada. The Miami, Oklahoma School Board today accepted the resignation of a grade school principal. Rockdale Elementary Principal Andrea Berry had been placed on administrative leave without any public explanation. At a previous school board meeting, members of the public called for greater transparency on the situation. At today's meeting, the members spent much of the time in a closed session before announcing their decision to the public. The state of Kansas is handing out grants to develop small communities. It's part of the Strategic Economic Expansion and Development, or SEED, grant program. 2 organizations in our area are receiving grants. The Woodson County Revitalization Project received $25,000 and the Galena Public Library received just under $17,000. Well, voters in Grove, Oklahoma will decide next month whether to increase the city's sales tax. The money would fund the construction of new police and fire department facilities. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
The city of Grove, Oklahoma continues to grow and flourish, and with that, the demand to keep its citizens safe grows as well. But that can be difficult when the facilities of our first responders don't meet the demand requirements.
So we've outgrown our current facility, and we also have maintenance issues with the building. The building's 40 plus years old, so obviously we can't expand. The city continues to grow. Our department's going to have to continue to grow. We're out of room.
The police department isn't the only one striving for a better facility. After talking with Fire Chief Mike Reed, he told me their facility just doesn't fit the increased demand of calls they've had over the years. A sentiment shared by Vice Mayor Ivan Devitt.
And the population in Grove since 1980 has grown about 46%. Right now, we're seeing even more of a growth factor.
Police Chief Morris says that the chance to improve these facilities would also establish a sense of pride within the community.
Because it is a sense of pride. We want to, you look at a beautiful fire department, a beautiful police department, that also gives a perception of how the city operates, right? So it gives a perception about public safety. If I'm dressed nice as a police officer as opposed to not, there's a perception of how that operation's run.
Simply put, it sounds like it's time for an upgrade. Reporting in Grove, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Now, the project is estimated to cost around $16.5 million, but Police Chief Morris says he hopes it will cost less. Well, coming up, cases spreading nationwide.
A new COVID strain is rapidly spreading across the country, and it's more contagious than the last one. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have all the details coming up.
Researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology are working on a way to fight the deadly MRSA infection. Using an AI technique known as deep learning, they've discovered a class of antibiotic compounds that can kill drug-resistant bacteria. Researchers hope this finding will lead to new, more effective drug treatments. COVID cases are on the rise again, and according to the CDC, the rates of infection are expected to continue on a steady incline through the holidays. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more from Atlanta.
Just in time for all those holiday gatherings, COVID is on the rise once again. The CDC says all Americans should be on the lookout for the latest variant, JN.1. It's now the fastest growing strain in the U.S., accounting for about 21% of new COVID infections. The variant first emerged back in September. It's thought to have originated in India and spread quickly there due to a lack of mitigation efforts like masking and social distancing.
People kind of want to forget whatever happened in the past and they want to move ahead. So they think that the COVID does not exist now. So because of that ignorance, there is increase in number of cases.
COVID hospitalizations and deaths both increased about 3% in the past week. Public health officials say because this latest variant is so contagious and because of the winter and holiday seasons, there's more opportunity for the virus to spread. And those at-home testing kits aren't as effective at detecting the new strain.
What we're seeing now is often you have to be symptomatic for a few days for those home test kits to pick up COVID.
Good news, there's no evidence yet that it causes more severe illness than previous variants. Still, health officials and lawmakers are pleading with the public to remain vigilant and get the latest vaccine boosters.
And you've still got hangover from COVID, a couple years after the peak of COVID is gone. And that's not just in America.
And the CDC says the latest boosters are expected to work against the JN1 strain. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later school may be on break, but basketball continues. We'll have highlights as the Carthage Tigers host the Ray Peck Panthers.
Well, it was a mild day once again for us today. Cloudy skies, some sprinkles, a couple light little showers, but rain will start to increase as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Looks good right now. This is our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam, about 7th and Joplin Street. We're looking northeast. You can see the flags whipping a little bit. It's been a little breezy out there, but overall, we've had really great temperatures the past couple days. All right, let's go outside. Here's the radar. Rain increasing. Northeastern parts of Oklahoma heading off toward the north and to the east. We had a little band of showers earlier this evening, but where you see the yellows, that's where you're finding that moderate rain. So lighting up Grand Lake, pushing into southern parts of Ottawa County, also southern parts of McDonald County, western parts of Benton County. And all this rain will continue to head toward us, this building from Tulsa to Oklahoma City. Light to moderate, but we'll take what we can get. We need the rain, we need the moisture. So here's wave number 1 pushing east. If you look toward the west, there's wave number 2, a stronger system right off the coast of California, and that's going to affect us Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. All right, rain chances high tonight, slowly taper through the morning hours, but still some hit and miss showers as we go into tomorrow afternoon. All right, let's go through time. I'm going to stop at midnight. Rain, light to moderate rain pushing through, where you see the yellows, kind of more moderate rain. Of course, this is a future projection. It just gives you an idea of what is going to happen. Let's stop at 4 a.m. Periods of light to moderate rain continuing to work through. Heaviest rain off to the east by 8, 9 a.m., but left behind a few sprinkles and a random light shower. Temperatures again, upper 50s to near 60 for an afternoon high for us tomorrow. All right, rainfall amounts, they've actually ticked up a bit with this wave that has developed. It's got some heavier bands in it, so instead of a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, a lot of areas are going to be a 1/4 up to 3/4 of an inch of rain, which I think that's where most of us will fall, which is pretty good. Like I said, we need the rain. All right, 54 by 11, mainly just cloudy skies as we get into the afternoon hours for us tomorrow. But here comes that stronger system. It kicks out as we get into the weekend. So here's Saturday, here's Christmas Eve, heading into Monday, slowly pushing east, and then it just kind of hangs out on us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, which will give us that cooler air and also keep that moisture around. So if we look, Saturday looks pretty good. We're going to shoot mid-60s. But by Saturday night, here comes the rain once again, increasing across the region, which we definitely need. All right, let's go 58 tomorrow, 66 Saturday, back down to 58 on Christmas Eve. Cooler on Christmas Day, 42. That cooler air working in with some showers. Next week in general, a cooler week, but we get sunshine the second half of the week.
All right, can't complain about that. I mean, we need the rain. We keep saying that, so I'm glad we're going to get it.
Yep.
All right, Santa will just have to deal. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, he's a mean one, that Mr. Grinch, and deputies in north central Kansas are doing something about it. The Phillips County Sheriff's Office says it captured the holiday foe thanks to Deputy K9 Fritz. Ouch. It's also thanks to the local high school band and video editors for their assistance. Now, the Grinch is sentenced to Christmas spirit therapy. The Sheriff's Office says no Grinches were harmed in the making of this video. That's good. Well, coming up, preparing for a travel rush.
According to TSA, the holiday travel crunch is about to kick off. The agency predicting it'll screen some 32.5 million passengers over the next 13 days. I'm Madison Scarpino. I'll have this story coming up.
Well, it may cost travelers slightly more to take a road trip this Christmas. Gas prices fell to a yearly low of $3.06 a gallon on Monday. But they're starting to inch up and have gained 6 cents since then. That puts the price of a gallon of gas 17 cents less than last month and 2 cents more than this time last year. Mild fluctuations in gas prices are expected during the holiday season. Millions of people are getting ready to travel this week for the holidays. AAA predicts more than 100 million people will be going somewhere in the upcoming days. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has the story.
Atlanta, Georgia.
For how long?
For a week.
More than 115 million Americans expected to travel 50 miles or more over a 10-day period this end-of-year holiday season. AAA says it's the second highest year-end forecast since it started tracking in the year 2000. It's not surprising to many travelers.
Pretty crazy. We sat in the customs line for a really long time and we missed our connecting flight.
AAA projecting 104 million people will get behind the wheel, 7.5 million will hop on a plane, and 4 million will travel by cruise, bus, or train. And where is everyone going? According to AAA, the most popular domestic destinations are Orlando, Chicago, and Anaheim, California. Internationally, it's London, St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Aruba.
Please arrive early. We highly recommend 2 hours for a domestic flight and 3 hours in advance of your departure time for an international flight.
One of the busiest travel days will be on Thursday, with TSA predicting it will screen more than 2.5 million passengers. And while bad weather isn't expected to disrupt holiday travel this week, staffing issues and operational meltdowns are still a concern for many. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg had this to say.
If your flight gets canceled for any reason, you are entitled to a full refund if you choose that instead of rebooking. And if you're having trouble getting airlines to honor that, we are here to support you.
Wet weather is expected over the holidays, which could cause travel headaches for those getting back home. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
Up next, the Chautauqua Public Library gives local kids a chance to have some fun over the holiday break. Well, the new Chautauqua City Library is hosting Christmas Fun Days. Kids could come in and decorate Christmas stockings, make Christmas ornaments, watch Christmas movies, or read Christmas books. There was even hot cocoa and plenty of holiday cheer.
Santa giving us presents. The part of joy and how family gets to get together.
We also are available every Friday. Our kids don't have school here, so there's craft activities set up, there's books, they can come in, get on the computers, and then we just do like holiday activity days.
Well, kids of all ages could attend, but kids under 10 had to bring an adult. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. How police in Kansas are using a new tool to catch suspects during vehicle chases. Plus, the U.S. and Chinese militaries begin talking again after a tense year-long silence.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A recent police chase in Kansas came to an abrupt end when officers used a new tool that stops fleeing cars in their tracks. Jackson Kurtz has a closer look at the tool, known as the grappler.
For our offenders out there, you just never know if the grappler's behind you.
It looks like something from a Batman movie.
Other people have described it as James Bond. In one way, it seems a little low tech. They'd hit a button to lower it.
Lenexa Police's grappler is used when they get right behind an alleged offender who's not stopping and uses webbed netting to grapple the driver's tire and get it to a grinding halt.
I describe it as like calf roping, like a cowboy roping something.
Police say they've used the grappler about 25 times.
We think it's a great way to avoid dangerous police pursuit, get people stopped before they even have a chance to take off.
So when do police decide to use it?
We don't know how bad they are until we actually go to deal with them always, right? In many cases, you turn on the lights for a routine traffic stop, and you don't realize that the person inside is wanted for many felony crimes and exactly what they're up to. We want to do so in a safe manner, not only for the offender, but of course the general public who's at risk during those police chases.
That's super cool. The driver of the car seen in that story has since been charged with vehicle theft, felony fleeing, possession of meth, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Well, a mass shooting at a university in Prague today left at least 15 people dead and injured more than 20 others. Police say a student opened fire at Charles University in the philosophy department building. His name has not been released. Authorities say he died at the scene. No motive has been revealed. Police say this is the worst mass shooting in the history of the Czech Republic. Today marks 35 years since a terrorist bomb took down Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. Family members and loved ones of those killed in the attack gathered at Arlington National Cemetery for a solemn ceremony. All 259 people on board the fateful flight and 11 others on the ground died when the 747 blew up over Scotland shortly after taking off from London's Heathrow Airport. Each year, the victims are remembered with a special ceremony and a moment of silence. The U.S. and Chinese militaries are talking again after a year of silence and close calls. Fox News congressional correspondent Asia Hasni has the story from Washington.
It's been over a year since the U.S. and Chinese militaries have spoken, but a historic call between the U.S. chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown, and his Chinese counterpart could be a sign that the freeze is thawing.
This is a positive development. We want to be able to pick up the hotline and have someone in Beijing answer.
The talks coming after President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping met face-to-face in California back in November. The two agreed to collaborate on curbing the spread of fentanyl and to resume military communications. And the timing could not be more important.
The China-Philippines relationship now stands at a crossroads, with its future yet to be decided.
China's foreign ministry warning the Philippines in a dispute over sovereignty in the South China Sea. The U.S. is obligated by treaty to defend the Philippines should things escalate. But at the same time, the U.S. wants China to step into the fray in the Red Sea, where shipping vessels have come under attack by Iranian-backed Houthis.
They harm the United States, they harm China, they harm the interests of every country. And so, yes, we would welcome China playing a constructive role in trying to prevent those attacks from taking place.
But there could be trouble ahead. During that meeting in California, President Xi reportedly said Beijing will reunify Taiwan with mainland China sometime in the future, while Taiwan says it will ramp up its self-defense and ties with the U.S. In Washington, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
Well, a bit later, technology to help out our four-legged friends.
Pets are benefiting from new technology, including artificial intelligence. I'm Caroline Scheidle in Washington with the latest on these high-tech trends coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a dreary day for us today, but temperature is good, right around 60 during the afternoon. A few sprinkles and a random shower or two, but rain showers are really going to start to increase as we go through the next several hours. Look at the rain picking up southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma, lifting off toward the north and to the east, and will affect most of us later on tonight. Already rain increasing Ottawa County, really coming down Grand Lake, Jay, and then McDonald County, Benton County, but everybody's going to see that rain increasing as this batch heads northeast as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. Light to moderate rain at times, but a weaker wave. Now, we do have a stronger wave back toward the west. It's spinning right off the coast of California, and that system will start to affect us as we get into Christmas Eve. All right, rain chances stay high tonight. Shoot up there. Slowly start to trail off as we go through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. All right, let's go through time. Look at the bands of rain working through light, sometimes moderate rain Rain continues. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning, and then heaviest rain should be out of here by the time we get into about that 8, 9, 10 o'clock range. After that point in time, just kind of random light shower, couple sprinkles, very similar to what we had this afternoon. High temps, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. All right, rainfall amounts have ticked up a little bit. There's a little bit more moderate rain in that band, but a lot of areas a quarter, half, maybe upwards to 3/4 of an inch in spots, and of course we need the rain. All right, 9 a.m. showers, 52, 55 by 1, 56 by 5 p.m. Our stronger system, this is the one that's going to roll in Christmas Eve. It's a stronger upper level low. It kicks out as we get into Sunday. Christmas Eve hangs out on Christmas Day. It really doesn't move much even by Tuesday, so this is going to pull in some cooler air as we get into next week. Also, it's going to give us rain. So let's go into Saturday evening. Look at these highs, mid-60s. So it's going to be mild, windy on Saturday. Here comes the rain Saturday night, periods of rain Sunday morning, heaviest rain Sunday morning. Once we get into Christmas Eve, it's just light showers. Here's Christmas morning, 6:30 in the morning. Light showers, may even mix with a couple flakes of snow as we go through the daytime hours on Monday. And then much cooler air works in for Monday and Tuesday. High of 58 on Sunday. Look at those rain chances. High. Cooler 42 on Christmas Day with just some scattered showers across the region. All right, 58 tomorrow, up to 66 Saturday. 58 on Sunday. Only 42 on Monday and dropping. 44 on Tuesday, and then we start to dry out and get that sunshine back the second half of next week.
It'll be nice to get the sunshine.
Yeah. Haven't seen it in a while.
And, you know, temperatures in the 40s shouldn't
Yep.
seem cold in December.
Nope.
In January, you know. We'll get there.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Doug. Today is the winter solstice, meaning daylight will increase as we near the warmer months. And there are some myths about solstices and equinoxes, like standing a broom or an egg upright. Nicolette Zangara shows us if there's any truth to them.
The legend is, on an equinox, which happens in the fall and spring, items like brooms and eggs can stand upright on their own due to the pull of gravity changing. Well, as you can see, this broom standing upright on a solstice debunks those myths. But where does it come from? This old wives' tale dates back hundreds of years, but the exact origin is unknown. The reality of these myths is simple physics. The bristles of a broom are acting as a tripod for the handle, and egg balancing is a difficult task, but both are possible 365 days out of the year. Not just on an equinox. Gravity does change from place to place, but it's such a minor change that it's not noticeable.
There is some very slight difference because the same mass does not exist all around the Earth. But the difference is not enough to affect things like standing an egg up or standing a broom up on its end.
Like any old wives' tale, there will always be times where things match up. Technically, it's not false that an egg or broom can stand up on the equinox, but it's false to believe they can only happen on an equinox.
You just hear some of those things. It's like the wives' tales that we do in the wintertime about the persimmon seeds and the woolly worms, and they really have no bearing on what the weather does. Now, there may be circumstances in which they happen to match up, and somebody might say, oh, see, the woolly worms. But if you've ever spent enough time trying to stand an egg up or a broom up, you'll discover that it's not just on the equinox. You can do it anytime. You do have to have patience, though.
Patience, something I don't have. Well, coming up in sports, Pitt State football finishes in the top 5 of the final coaches poll. Plus highlights from tonight's home game for Carthage girls basketball. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Carthage girls basketball enters this evening on a 2-game win streak. After beating Joplin and Nevada, the Tigers' opponent, Ray Peck, has won 4 of its last 5 contests. Carthage girls hoops at home tonight. Ray Peck, their opponent, each of them playing well recently. Second quarter, Tigers down 2, but Lauren Choate hits a 3 to give her team the lead. Tigers enter halftime down by 9. Some work to do in the second half. Third quarter, Lexi Youngblood pulls up from the wing and hits the 3. That trims the deficit from 12 to 9. A couple minutes later, Maggie Boyd, nice crossover into a step back 3. That's good as well. Lead cut down to 6. We go into the fourth quarter with this game tied. But in the final frame, Ray-Pac finishes strong. Peyton Johnson hits a corner 3 to put the Panthers back in the lead. Next possession, Sarai Clark gets fouled and she hits the shot through contact. Ray-Pac just a little bit too much for Carthage girls basketball to handle tonight. Lady Tigers fall at home 49-42. Webb City boys basketball also in action tonight. The Cardinals coming off a dominant performance at home their last time out when they beat Cassville by 38 points. That was 81-43 last Friday night. Webb City makes it a clean sweep in basketball over Seneca this week. The Lady Cardinals win earlier this week, and tonight the boys team takes down the Indians 88-58, the final score. 4 Cardinals score double-figure points, including Baron Duda, who finishes with a game-high 24 on 8 of 16 shooting. Now Webb is off for the next week before playing in the 12 Courts of Christmas tournament, which begins a week from now next Thursday. And the college football season is over at the Division II level. For the second year in a row, Pittsburgh State has a short-lived playoff run. The Gorillas get bounced in the second round on the road at Grand Valley State. This week, the final coaches poll of the 2023 season is released. And Pitt State finishes as the number 5 team in the country. Grand Valley, who I just mentioned, knocked out the Gorillas in a nail-biter, finishes as the number 3 team in the country. The Lakers lost to the eventual national champion Harding. They played them in the quarterfinals, as did the only other 2 teams above PSU not named Harding. Lenoir-Rhyne was blown out 55-14 in the semifinals. Colorado Mines lost by 31 to Harding in the national title game. Over in the NFL, Week 15 of the regular season begins tonight. Rams and Saints facing each other. This one, all Los Angeles, 30-7. Rams at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Matt Stafford has picked apart that New Orleans defense. He's got over 300 passing yards to go with 2 touchdowns. With a win, the Rams move a half game ahead of 2 other 7-7 NFC wildcard teams. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
After a rise in pet ownership from the pandemic and a growing number of new technologies, many fueled by artificial intelligence, are improving and protecting the lives of our 4-legged friends. Fox's Caroline Shively takes a look at the latest trends heading into 2024.
Pet ownership increased in nearly 87 million U.S. households this past year. That's roughly 2/3 of all homes today with a dog, cat, fish, or some other family pet. But they're not just stuck in the house. In many workplaces, pets in the office have become the new norm.
Tech startups are very demanding, and it would be impractical to leave a dog at home for that many hours.
And that's unleashed a flurry of new pet products, many tech-related, including pet cameras, automatic feeders, or smart collars.
I'd say it's all part of a trend called the humanization of pets, but really all that means is treating pets as family members.
At Tractive, a company that develops GPS trackers for pets, it's that trend in which pets are considered part of the family that's led to a rise in interest for their tech products.
We're the most popular worldwide with 1 million pets actively tracked today.
Many of those new technologies for pets are also being fueled by artificial intelligence. Veterinary telemedicine, for one, is on the rise as AI-powered platforms are increasingly making it possible for veterinarians to remotely interact with pet owners.
In a time where we're seeing really critical veterinary shortages and people having to wait long amounts of time to get in to see the veterinarian, it's a really critical tool that will allow veterinarians to be able to provide that care.
AI-empowered healthcare apps are also improving the lives of pets. Some are even equipped to remotely analyze images to flag for issues that require vet attention. Artificial intelligence is also transforming the pet food industry, as owners are increasingly looking for ways to customize diets to their individual pets. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, coming up, we'll get a behind-the-scenes look at how NORAD keeps a watchful eye on Santa Claus every year. Santa will soon be delivering presents across the world. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, better known as NORAD, is gearing up to track his every move. Fox Multimedia reporter Kennedy Hayes has a behind-the-scenes look.
What you see behind me is the magic in process. Come Sunday, this place will be transformed into a winter wonderland, packed with more than 1,000 volunteers answering calls from children wondering where Santa is around the world.
We track Santa with the same assets that we use to keep the North American continent safe every day, which is our jets, our radars, and our satellites.
This year, NORAD will track Santa in this center on the Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs.
Even though Santa is faster than Starlight, with their powers combined, we get a really good sight image of where he is at all times.
Military and civilian volunteers flood in from 4 a.m. to midnight.
This is one of the first stops for our volunteers as soon as they enter through the hangar and they're greeted.
The modern tradition of tracking Santa started in 1955 when a child dialed an unlisted NORAD phone number in an advertisement. A colonel picked up and the child asked where St. Nick was. 68 years later, NORAD Tracks Santa has grown into a massive operation.
Well, we got just under 100 phones in this location. We'll probably take, in the past, we've taken over 250,000 calls in the 20-hour period of time.
Preparing to share Santa updates in 8 different languages means all hands on deck for volunteers and U.S.-Canada NORAD teams.
Last year we took a call from a group of kids in Ukraine who were calling on a little battery phone, and they said all that they wanted was for Santa to turn their power back on. So it's moments like that that just give us all pause and remind us of the global reach that NORAD Tracks Santa has and the importance.
NORAD says they cannot predict an exact time Santa will come down the next chimney in your home, but they say it appears he only arrives when children are asleep. In Colorado Springs, Colorado, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Well, starting on Christmas Eve, you can track Santa's progress on our website through NORAD at KOAMnews.com/Santa. In the meantime, check out that site because there are a load of games in Santa's Village. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of animals at an Australian park playing with Christmas decorations. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.